The more things changed, the more they stay the same. And we're going to talk about it when we get back. I'm CLM II for Style with Power, the channel that helps empower men through style.
Okay.
Hey, happy Monday, the day after Mother's Day, and I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. Unfortunately, today's show is a sad one, as some mother have lost their child. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ahmaud Arbery story, and for those of you who do not know who Ahmaud Arbery is, he was a young man, 24 years of age. Actually, his birthday just passed this past weekend, and he would have been 25. Young man jogging in his neighborhood, and he was assaulted and killed by two white men in Georgia. So it's a sad case, but great news. They just arrested those two men, and we are hoping that they go to jail for a very, very long time for killing another unarmed black man who was just jogging in his neighborhood. And it's a sad story, especially since Mother's Day just passed, and we know how the mothers in our community love their sons, and they do anything that they can to save their young men. And it's just a sad story. So what I have for you today is actually a couple of clips. First clip will be from CBS News that talks about the story and about the arrest, and also shows the videotape of this young man being killed in cold blood. And the second one is an interview by the Breakfast Club in New York City, where they interview Benjamin Crump. And for those of you who do not know Benjamin Crump, he is a civil rights attorney, has been doing great work. Claim to fame is a Trayvon Martin case. He was out there fighting, and since Trayvon Martin, he's done many great things to get many people convicted of crimes against the black and brown community. So you're going to see those two clips, and he will explain to you the similarities, because there's a lot of similarities between the Ahmaud Arbery case and the Trayvon Martin case. A lot of similarities. So hope you enjoyed those two clips and learn about the Ahmaud Arbery case. And the last video that I'm going to show, as I've been doing lately, is show you an inspirational video. And the inspirational video is a group that sang a song called True Colors. And many of you will know this song when you hear it. It's a great song, but it's really appropriate for this particular situation, because one of the lines says, "I see your true colors." And once again, black and brown people, and of course black and brown men, realize that even in this pandemic, even when the whole world is suffering at this particular time, and this is a time for all of us to come together, once again we see the Caucasians' true colors, and they really don't care about us. That's why it's important that we care about each other and we take care of each other, because it's really us against them. So let's get right into it.
News breaking overnight in the killing of an unarmed black man in Georgia.
That's right, Gail. The two white men who confronted him in his neighborhood are now charged with murder and aggravated assault. Gregory and Travis McMichael, a father and son, were arrested last night. They deny any wrongdoing in the shooting death of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. More than 2 months ago, Omar Villafranca has new information and reaction from Arbery's family.
This is a good birthday gift. I wish my son was here instead.
Marcus Arbery says he is relieved that the men accused of killing his son Ahmaud last February are in the Glynn County Jail. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations arrested Gregory and Travis McMichael Thursday evening. The father and son duo told police they thought he was a burglary suspect and shot the unarmed man during a confrontation. But Arbery says his son was not a criminal.
He was a good, well-mannered, respectful young man, athletic, love people.
The arrest comes just days after cell phone video was released showing the final moments of Arbery's life as he jogged in his own neighborhood. The video appears to show the McMichaels after they chased Arbery in their truck. Gregory told police Travis and Arbery fought over the shotgun before Travis shot him 2 times. CBS News can now confirm the video was filmed by this man, William Bryan. According to the case's previous prosecutor, the McMichaels and William Bryan were following Arbery, thinking he was a burglary suspect. The police have not said that Arbery committed a crime.
He just had a good heart. And you think he deserved to be lynched like that by a lynch mob? No.
Arbery family attorney Lee Merritt says he also expects Bryan to be charged.
My understanding is that investigation is still ongoing.
CBS News can also confirm the video was leaked by this man, Alan Tucker, the former attorney for Gregory and Travis McMichael. According to a statement, Tucker says his sole purpose in releasing the video was absolute transparency. Fellow Arbery family attorney Ben Crump says the video is what might have propelled the case forward.
I believe that the video was all the probable cause you needed to arrest these murderous father and son duo.
CBS News has learned new details about the former prosecutor assigned to the case, George Barnhill of the Waycross Judicial Circuit. We obtained the email Barnhill sent to the Georgia Attorney General along with his recusal letter. In it, Barnhill explains his son, who is also an attorney, had previously investigated Arbery. He also included what he claimed was the criminal history of Arbery's relatives.
In that letter does not line up with the law in the least bit.
Well, that was the clip from CBS News and Ms. Gayle King showing you what the Arbery story was all about. And I just want to say, just to support the channel, that if you're into videos that talks about style, that talks about fashion, that talks about mindset, and it talks about empowerment, well, I think this is the channel for you. So listen, I need your help. I need you to hit that subscribe button and hit the little notification bell so you'll know every time we upload a video. So the next clip that we're going to see is an interview with a great civil rights attorney where he talks to the Breakfast Club. So let's take a look.
We got a special guest on the phone line right now. We have attorney Benjamin Crump. Welcome, brother.
Hey, good morning, Amby. How you all doing?
My brother Ben Crump. What's happening, sir?
Hey, Charlemagne, Angie, it's a good day. We got the arrest last night. Ahmaud Arbery's family was able to sleep knowing that the killers that executed their son in broad daylight for simply jogging and being a black man are behind bars. And I know when the Georgia Bureau of Investigations notified us, his father said, it's a good birthday gift for Ahmaud, but I would rather have my son back.
Of course. Oh, yeah, today's Ahmaud born day, right? Today, right?
Today, 26 years old, he would have been.
Wow. So how do we ensure conviction, man? That's the real gift. The real gift would be to get these 2 white devils under the jail. How does that happen?
Absolutely. And the next steps are literally this. Now that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said they were going to look at it with fresh eyes, and I know Lee and I and all our legal team said, if you're going to do that with this fresh eyes, don't take any information, don't take any of the reports from the local Southeastern legal and law enforcement community. Look at it with fresh eyes, because Charlemagne, we knew that if they looked at it with fresh eyes and looked at the video, the horrific video that we all saw, that was enough for probable cause to make the arrest. And we don't need to wait to June 12th like the prosecutor and the DA kept saying we had to wait. So we are grateful that they did look at it with fresh eyes. Now what they need to do is make sure that they investigate this sheriff's deputy who was the first ones on the scene that did not arrest them day one, that said they're going to take their word as the gospel that it was a burglary being committed. And Angie, think about it. These sheriff's deputies who didn't arrest him on day one are either incompetent or it was intentional, because how could he be a burglar when there's no burglary bag, there's no burglary tools, there's no burglary mask. All he has on is a t-shirt and shorts. And they're going to take the word and then say that, nah, we're going to say he's a burglar and it's justified that y'all killed him. So they should be investigated and disciplined at best and fired if it was intentional, because there's that history there with Greg McMichaels being a 30-year law enforcement official in that community. And we call that bias and we call that discrimination, and that should be held accountable. So the next steps is we all need to keep calling the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and tell them your job isn't over. You got to arrest William Bryan, who was the third person who allegedly videotaped the murder, because he's an accomplice. It was aiding and abetting on this lynch mob. And so those sheriff's deputies need to be held accountable too, and the sheriff or whoever signed off on them not being arrested and going home to sleep in their bed that night after executing Ahmaud Arbery, they should be held accountable too.
Now I was going to ask, you just said that the family's tied to the judicial system in Georgia. How do we make sure the people investigating this case, the people that are prosecuting this case, and the people that are defending this case are not tied and not friends and not, good old boys? I look out for you because you looked out for me before. How do we make sure that it's really fair?
And that is our main concern, Envy, because there were two prosecutors who already said they had a conflict of interest. This third prosecutor, we think he needs to have a special prosecutor working on the case or step aside, because remember, he was the person who had this video that we saw a couple of days ago. He saw it from day one when he got the case, but yet he still said, I don't have enough information to make an arrest. I got to give it to a grand jury to consider charges. Well, we don't want that prosecutor because he's already showed him, he's revealed himself what he believes, how he's going to try to technically sweep it under the rug, because they love to send it to the grand jury, Envy, and say, well, we presented the case to the grand jury. They found no probable cause for an indictment, even though we all saw the probable cause with our own eyes.
And what about their actions after they killed Ahmaud Arbery and going on social media and bragging about it? Is that taken into account during this time now too?
Well, Angie, one of the things that we believe should absolutely be taken into account is their mindset. They teach us in first-year law school about malice aforethought, which means evil intent in your mind when you commit an act. And so I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that when this murderous duo of this father and son got in that pickup truck with a shotgun and a .357 Magnum and went and hunting this young unarmed black man, that they had good intent. They had evil intent in their mind. They had malice aforethought, and that is an element of murder. And so we believe that we can construe all their actions, not only before the execution of Ahmaud Arbery, but afterwards. The fact that they gave statements that I'm absolutely certain, because we've saw the police report, that is not consistent with what we see on that video, because that video is very clear how they pursue him all through that community. And so if their statements don't match up to that, then it is further evidence that they are guilty of murder, and they should be put under the jail, because we know if the shoe was on the other foot and it was Ahmaud Arbery and his father in that truck, and they went on a pickup truck with that kind of firepower and they pursued Greg McMichael's son and shot and killed him in broad daylight, that they would have been arrested, and it wouldn't have took 74 days, and Charlemagne, they would not have been given a bond. They would still be sitting in jail today, Angie.
Right.
Wow.
Well, Ben, I want you to answer this in 45 seconds or less, because we got to go to a break. But I can't stop seeing the similarities between the Trayvon Martin case and Ahmaud Arbery case. You represented Trayvon Martin. How do we ensure that a jury doesn't let these guys off the way they let Zimmerman off?
Well, certainly zealous prosecution, special prosecutor, and Charlemagne, I would tell you the similarities are eerie between Trayvon and Ahmaud. when you think about both of them were killed in February, Trayvon February 26, 2012, Ahmaud February 23rd, 2020, the fact they were both accused of burglary. Trayvon and the gated community, and Ahmaud in the Tina Shores community. Both of their killers alleged, even though they had guns, that they had to kill these unarmed black men in some kind of act of self-defense. The fact that both of the prosecutors in Sanford, Florida with Trayvon said he had an alleged conflict of interest, and then in Ahmaud in Brunswick, Georgia, they said they had alleged conflicts of interest. The fact that the state police in Florida with Trayvon, Florida Department of Law Enforcement had to take over the investigation before there was an arrest. The fact in Brunswick, Georgia, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, the state police had to take over before there was an arrest. The fact that in both cases, the killer of Trayvon and the killers of Ahmaud got to go home and sleep in their bed at night. The fact that there was not an arrest in Trayvon for weeks, there was not where public outcry. The fact that there was not an arrest in Ahmaud for weeks without great public cry. And then this is a huge one here, Angie and Charlamagne, Envy. The fact that they all had these quasi-law enforcement relationships. You know, with Trayvon's killer, he was the head of the Neighborhood Watch volunteer, but also his father was a magistrate judge. We have to remember that. And then you think about Ahmaud, Greg McMichaels, the father, was a police officer, and he was a 30-year detective for the district attorney's office. And so you take all that into account. And then the fact that both of the pursuits were captured objectively with evidence. Trayvon audio, we heard the pursuit. We heard the shots. Now with Ahmaud, we see and witness with our eyes the pursuit and the shots. So the huge difference between the two is the fact that we witness everything with our own eyes in Ahmaud Arbery's case, and the fact that Corey Jones, I'm optimistic cautiously, because Corey Jones in Palm Beach, Florida, Charlamagne, that was featured in the Super Bowl ad, who we represented, with a church drummer who was broke down on the side of the road, who the undercover police officer in a t-shirt, jeans, and a baseball cap in an unmarked cargo van came and killed him and lied about it. But because he was on the phone with the tow truck driver, it captured the recording. And so that's the only way he didn't get away with murder. And an all-white jury in Palm Beach, Florida convicted him and sent that police officer away for 25 years. And then in Marquise McLaughlin's case, in Clearwater, Florida, another white man who's trying to take the law into his own hands and impose his will on black people, he said that they parked in a handicapped parking spot, and he killed Marquise McLaughlin in front of his 3 young children, his 5-year-old son, his 3-year-old daughter, and his 1-year-old child. And that video is so hard because he falls and his son is reaching out to him. Right. An all-white jury in Clearwater, Florida convicted him, sending him away for 25 years. And then Lee, Darrell Washington and I represented Botham Jean and the Amber Geiger case, where the white policewoman went into the alleged wrong apartment and killed him. A jury convicted her, and she got sentenced to prison only for 10 years, but she got sentenced. So in the recent cases, Charlamagne, that I've been involved in, these high-profile cases, we have been getting the prosecutors to do their job so we can get convictions, and the jury, because they had the evidence, wouldn't let them pull the wool over their eyes. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but we got to stay on them, because this is South Georgia, and when you look at that video, it was not 2020, it was more like it was 1920.
Well, thank you for checking in. We definitely appreciate you.
Yes.
And you do not know what 45 seconds means.
We definitely.
And thank you for the work you've been doing. Thank you for the work you've been doing, Attorney Benjamin. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Well, there you have it. That's the story, coming from the civil rights attorney, Mr. Benjamin Crump, and he's been doing a fantastic job fighting for the civil rights, and he feels really, really confident that we'll probably get a conviction in this case, and hopefully those gentlemen will be able to go to jail for a very, very long time. Well, that's our show for this weekend. And as I always do, as I've been doing, I'm going to leave you with an inspirational video. And the video is called True Colors. And I will see you next Monday.
You with a senseless I realize it's hard to take courage in the world full of people. You can lose sight of it all. The darkness inside you can make you feel so small. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, oh, like a rainbow. Show me your smile. Show me your smile. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. When this world makes you crazy and you take it all you can bear, just call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, oh, like a rainbow. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, so beautiful, like a rainbow.